Welcome to the Emisarios Unidos de Luz channel. If you enjoy this near-death experience story, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel.
Now let's start with the story. I woke up lying in my hospital bed, unable to breathe. Every joint in my body was in excruciating pain.
In my panicked state, I located the call button and pressed it to alert the nurse. After explaining to the nurse who answered the call that something was very wrong, the nurse took a reading of my blood pressure to find that it was abnormally low. In the days that followed, my heart stopped beating 4 times, and I remember that I had 2 near-death experiences during that time. In the first NDE, I remember traveling through a tunnel of light while unconditional love permeated my being. I remember undergoing a life review, and during that review, I felt the joy or the hurt that I had caused others to feel. The hurt those people experienced saddened me, and I felt regret for the hurt I had caused, yet during the review, there was never a moment where I felt as if some force or being was judging me or regarding me with disapproval. During the review, the unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness of God shielded and cocooned me so that I wouldn't be overwhelmed with feelings of sorrow. After the life review, I was asked by my heavenly host if I wanted to return to earth or if I wanted to remain in that realm of heavenly love.
I responded, however, that I had 2 sons on earth to return to and that I could not abandon them.
I then found myself once again in pain-racked body, yet the love that I experienced during my NDE remained with me for some time after to comfort me. In a second NDE, I found myself in the city of God. In the city of God, I was sitting by a water fountain when a man in a long white linen robe appeared.
"Ask any question you want. I will take you on a tour of the city of God," he said. "Which religion is the correct one?" I asked the robed being.
"They all are.
Each religion is but a pathway trying to reach the same destination," he replied.
I was shown, in a vision, each religious group trying to reach the zenith of a mountain, and that each group was separated from each other by some distance. I was then told that people, before reincarnating on Earth, choose the cultural group and family to be born into that will best help them learn the lessons they incarnate on Earth to learn.
The being explained that the earth is a place of grounding your knowledge. It is a place to put your knowledge to the test, by living the way you believe life should be lived.
It was made clear to me that some people incarnate on the earth to work on only one aspect of themselves, while others incarnate to work on several aspects.
Some come not only to work on themselves but also to help the world as a whole. On earth, one must feed and clothe the body and provide shelter for the physical body, while not compromising one's self-integrity.
You learn on the other side how to live on earth, but the question remains as to whether you can live all that you have learned while subjected to the pressures placed on the physical body. I learned from my observation of life on the other side that life on earth is all about relationships and taking care of each other. I also learned that we plan a life filled with very specific experiences in order to learn very specific lessons, and although perfection is not expected, learning those lessons is considered progress. If you examine your life experience, certain themes and patterns will become evident, and those patterns reveal the challenges you incarnated on Earth to face, the robed being explained.
I was then shown a library filled with gold-covered books.
Each book represents the life plan of one of the people now on Earth, outlining what a person hopes to achieve while on Earth through certain key experiences. People are free to decide the life path they will take to arrive at those predetermined key experiences, and because they are free, some will take a meandering path, while others will take a more direct route. Either way, certain events are decreed and will happen no matter what, and one's reactions to those events reveal to them how much they have learned and what more needs to be learned, the robed being explained. The economic turmoil that the people of Earth are collectively experiencing is one of those predetermined key events that the people agreed before incarnating to experience collectively, the robed being explained further.
From what I was shown, the ultimate act of love was to help each other and to help those in need.
Most people, however, will choose to be self-protective and self-oriented, making their possessions the primary priority and focus of their lives rather than giving priority to their connection with people.
I was also shown somewhat of the future of the Earth.
I was shown that from 1981 on, the banks and other organizations and businesses would be empires built on paper and built to collapse under pressure. I was shown the key events that would ensue as a result of such structures being built and of economies that would come to rely on the prosperity of those hollow structures. I saw that the eventual fall of the propped-up system would test many people in the world, impelling them to align energetically to a greater degree with either selflessness or with self-centeredness. I was shown the parts of the city of God where heavenly beings were working with scientists, artistic people, and others on earth, and that those beings were compelled to inspire those on earth to create beneficial things for mankind in every area. There was so much happening there in the city of God, but, more important than anything, it was a place filled with love for mankind, for everyone on earth, and for the earth itself.
Communications were completely honest and transparent there, and thoughts were shared just as we share conversations on earth.
The people I saw there were all working happily and with great joy, though I was also shown a much darker place where people did not seem to know that they had left their bodies behind, a place where people continually fought each other for material things. Material possessions were their focus, and even though a legion of beings waited above to help them, their actions remained self-centered. In that dark place, whenever someone looked up and asked God for help, they were whisked away to a place attuned to God's love, yet in that dark place, most seemed lost, and most never looked up to ask for help.
The city of God was made up of many places for various purposes.
There was a place of rest where souls were able to recover from a traumatic life on earth, and there were places of work where souls were able to help mankind and others grow to be greater than they are.
There were libraries, theaters, and schools, and I also saw the temple of God.
In the temple of God, I was taken into a large hall, and before me stood beings of pure light. One in particular sat directly in front of me on a throne, and he and other beings like him were beings of pure light energy whose forms were distinct from those of a human.
The love that emanated from those beings, and particularly the one on the throne in the center, was overwhelming, and I found myself prostrating in awe and gratitude before them. "You have done well, my child, and I am pleased," the entity on the throne said to me as he embraced me. His love that pervaded me and his words of approval made me weep, and I wondered at that moment if he was God. The love that I received from those light beings was so marvelous to me, and I felt so honored to be in their presence.
I live my life appreciative of all that I experienced during my NDE, and I find myself wanting only to be worthy of the love I received from those light beings. My NDE gave me a love of life that I never before experienced, and now I try to live my life as an example of my ideals instead of merely expounding my ideas of what I believe to be an ideal life. I have a mission to complete here on earth, yet I know that I will return to the place I visited during my NDE when my earthly mission is complete. From my NDE, I understood that all regions are a pathway to God and that the message common to all of them is that you should try to love your neighbor as much as you love yourself and to take care of each other to the best of your ability.